is how we lost the audio that one time. I swear to God.
No, it's not.
Mr. Button Pushy over there.
No, Mr. Entrapment over there. What is it like when you have dirt on somebody? No, that's not causality. That's entrapment. You can't entrap me. It's fine.
So I'm going to clap it in?
Yeah.
3, 1.
We're singing Hampshire Valley in my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Kentucky Commons Radio Hour. Thanks for tuning in. If you're with us on Patreon, thanks for viewing in. And we have a couple topics to discuss this week. You guys have anything that you've come across this week that's been fun before we do the whole eating ass thing?
The what thing?
The PBR thing?
That's not what this podcast is about.
Okay. Anyway, no, but we do have a Patreon now, though, for people listening. And if you don't know, that is a subscription service where you can pay as little as $3 a month to support us and to support Local Beer in all of our efforts. And, basically just buy us a beer so we can get the beers flowing.
And we have some good prizes on there. The minimum tier, you get the video feed, which people have enjoyed watching us embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, this is a two-way street.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and as the more money you pay, the more things you get. That's how capitalism or commerce works, I guess. But
canceled. You're canceled.
Since we're over economics here, there are incentives for Patreon, but also we will spend the money diligently, responsibly.
It helps us grow what we're doing here.
But by responsibly. I'm excited for this.
Well, speaking of being responsible,
that's a good segue.
We are doing Dry January this month.
Yeah, I'm going to try my first NA beer from Right Side Brewing. So thanks, Right Side.
Out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Apparently, a lot of people are doing Dry January this year. I've been seeing it all over my social media and all that kind of stuff.
I'm just glad that I drove to Georgia, picked up this beer, and drove it back by my person. Because... yes, that's how you get it.
Well, that's the beauty about NA beers is that it's a food product and there's zero restrictions as far as shipping.
Yeah,
in or out.
Yeah,
of the
be
state.
Careful with that, guys.
Yeah,
just be careful.
So to that point, NA beers. It's been a growing trend.
That's great. That's fantastic. It's very good.
Yeah, that's the Citrus Sweet. It's still an NA beer, so it is what it is.
No, this says contains less than 0.5% alcohol. So if I drink 50 of these, I could get. It's like the Snackwell cookies conundrum.
All right, good.
They're good for you, unless you eat the whole box.
Yeah, sure.
I'm hoping at some point this has a placebo, and I just
feel
fall out of the chair drunk.
But so far, I've enjoyed the Dry January thing. We're 6 days in at this point, so we'll do another wrap up session. We're not going to preach on this every week, but it's been nice just to not have to think about drinking.
Well, when we're in it as deep as the three of us are,
you think about drinking.
Well, yeah. I mean, I should get beer on the way home, or do I have any beer at the house, or just
No, I think that's totally fair, especially when you've been involved and ingrained into the industry in all the different ways that we have been for so many years. It is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle for sure.
I mean, our social lives are impacted. I don't know about you two, but mine certainly is. I've been spending each night drinking tea and playing Duolingo on my phone for the last 5 nights.
Reading great works of philosophy.
I'm speaking German now. Ich möchte eine NA Beer bitte.
Beautiful.
You do know the Duolingo's not a game, right?
No, they
kind of is. Honestly.
They gamified language learning, so it's a game.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
But the only thing that sucks about Dry January, though, is that I really fucking want a beer. There's times when I get triggered. Home repair, if I'm working on the house, that's my zone. That's my thing, is just drink some Pilsners and listen to a podcast or something, and then just drink beers. I don't drink enough to get blackout drunk.
Do you think this affects the quality of your home repair work?
I mean...
for the better.
There's something to be said about the zone, kind of when you're playing pool, you're a little bit better if you just kind of keep 1.5 beers in your system over the course of hours. So
is this the what's the effect?
I would say so far it's probably been net neutral in terms of my productivity, but I enjoy doing housework less, like completely sober. I'll tell you that, like doing that kind of stuff. So, but again, that's like a reason to do dry January is because you shouldn't have beer as like a crutch to be able to do things that you need to be doing anyway. And I definitely think that there's some extent where I just use beer as like a reward mechanism for myself for doing things that, you know, I don't want to do or whatever.
For sure. Like, I don't eat a whole lot of desserts. Like, I rarely go out for ice cream.
Yeah.
I mean, I love ice cream. I love cookies. I love like chips and snack foods, but I rarely have those things in the house.
Yeah.
For that reason, because I know that I'd rather spend those calories on beer.
Yep.
And, you know, we all have our different motivations for doing dry January, and that, you know, everybody has their own motivation. It's a trend. It's growing. More people are doing it. More breweries are getting in on the NA trend.
What's the other guy at Apple? Not Jobs.
Wozniak.
What? And then there's a third guy who was like sold out
right now. Cook. Steve, no, whatever.
Yeah.
Tim Cook.
Tim Cook.
No, it's something. Oh, the Balmer Peak. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry. Back to your productivity.
This is David in dry January.
This is my brain sober. Sorry. I had a dream about beer the other night.
Yeah, you told us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was. It went to Czechoslovakia. Had a Pilsner Kel. Never been there. Never taken a Google tour.
You're reading too many Roger Baylor posts on Facebook.
Yeah.
I felt
Was it the 80s?
inspired.
Was the Soviet Union still a thing?
Well, you wake up and your pants are wet and you're not sure if it's like a beer thing
Yeah.
or.
I mean, that's like good. That's good dream fuel right there. Going to Pilsner or Kel. That's goals.
Anyways, back to the Balmer Peak. It was this thing at Apple that, the idea was that after certain blood alcohol concentration, like there was all these coders that were like stuck in a basement, like doing all this shit. And basically after, I think the equivalent was like 2.5 beers, their coding would get like so much more efficient and so much more, like clean, and they'd be able to work more productively. And then of course it's like a huge bell curve. So you just skyrocket down the other side. So they would like they would allow people to like drink at work and kind of keep them in this little like zone, but it's like, as you mentioned, it's like pretty hard to like balance that out over a period of time.
Well, that's the thing I've noticed the most is like I very rarely I don't ever really get like drunk. Like
good for you, John.
Well, that's not,
for
I
you.
mean, certainly I get like into my cups or whatnot, but like going out and drinking is not really my thing.
I have pejorative evidence that says otherwise.
Well, I wouldn't call that like blackout. Like,
But you also you don't make a habit of doing it. It's not every day. Like you're capable of having like 3 beers and calling it quits and whatever. But
man, I noticed that I get that like pang for it. So my whole point is I don't necessarily think I have like a strong physical addiction to like alcohol, except that I've noticed like
it's a life. It's a social addiction.
Yeah,
that's what it is for me.
Well, for me, I only enjoy drinking alone. Like really working on my house, doing stuff.
You need to talk to a therapist, but for the rest of us,
no. But my advice, if you're looking for advice, is then just replace it with something else. Replace it with another beverage of choice. Meaning, like I'm trying to get into tea right now.
Totally,
I am.
But yeah, to Michael's point, like going out and having a beer, like at a bar, sitting at a bar stool, talking to strangers, friends, whatever.
I enjoy that as well.
Is the experience of it, and
that's just like not my trigger. My trigger is just that doing it at home while I'm working on stuff.
And I'll say I went to 2 breweries on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Neither one of them had an NA option.
Not
even like soda or anything.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I get that you're a brewery and we love you guys, but
I've talked shit about like NA beers and NA products in the past, but this is good for like a fill-in in a social. I wouldn't drink this at home just as like
or something. Yeah.
But no, this is really nice. Is like because that's another thing I'd enjoy doing is like drinking beers with you guys or with industry people or whatever. This can fill that if you're just trying not to drink or whatever.
It has a place for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to play counteractive and say that you don't go to a butcher to get vegetables. So it's, this shouldn't be the burden to have it, but it's nice. It's a good option. I applaud people that do it because for like any number of situations other than dry January, it could apply whether you have like celiacs or gluten allergy or, any number.
Or you just don't drink.
Or that too.
Or you just don't drink.
Yeah. Another topic, I don't want to get political, but the Biden administration has proposed that manufacturers of vehicles now implement drunk driving safety instruments into vehicles from the factory, which is a huge kind of it's a burden, one, to the manufacturer that now has to implement this new technology, and also a burden to the consumer because they're going to pass that cost along. And third, it's kind of a moral burden because why would you need that? I mean, like, I understand the drunk driving. It's, obviously not like condoned in any manner, but why would you put anti-drinking technology equipment into like standardized vehicles? I mean, what is your average, person who's just not like a drinker or doesn't ever drink?
Right. Why should you have to pay for that if you're not one of the 5% of the people that suffers with like alcoholism or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
Is. I feel you. Yeah. It makes it more expensive it makes everybody have to bear the added cost of things that aren't really necessary for them.
I haven't heard this.
No, it's news to me.
Yeah. The plan was to have it.
I guess I need to start watching more InfoWars to keep up with David Satterley. I'm just kidding.
It wasn't on
I'm
InfoWars.
just kidding.
The plan was to like have it in place by 2026.
Well, politicians say a lot of shit, and that's never going to come to fruition.
I did watch Don't Look Up last night.
Oh, is it good?
That's fantastic.
Nice.
I would recommend that.
It's good. It's harrowing because of how realistic it is.
It made me nervous. Like, I just felt nervous watching it the entire time.
Yeah, I could see that.
Certainly. For anyone not familiar, there was a Netflix original movie released like the first day of the year or right after Christmas.
Yeah, it's right around New Year's.
And basically, it's a movie about these scientists that discover a large meteor headed towards Earth that would,
wipe us out.
Yeah, a catastrophic
extinction level event.
Correct. And basically, these two scientists find it. They go out to the government. They go out to media and try and explain the issues that are like the
severity,
impending doom. And basically, everyone just laughs at them.
It was 6 months. It wasn't like, hey, someday we'll die. It's 6 months from now. This thing's gonna hit us.
Right. And yeah, it was meant to be like this huge allegory to climate change and global warming. I don't know if that's lost on many people, but stellar cast, great movie. If you haven't watched it,
Global's hometown hero, J-Law.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Jen.
I will not be watching it because I'm not a commie like you guys. I believe in putting your head in the sand and just
you'll
fucking just let it hit us, baby.
Wait for the asteroid.
But it was a very frustrating movie. Anyway, though.
Yeah, I'll watch that. That's a good. Yeah.
Speaking of things that are frustrating, edgy social media accounts.
Yeah, so segue from Dry January into that, but that was a fun little tidbit this week.
All right, so this is not a flex, but I
got in Twitter beef.
Well, okay, so the whole thing that made PBR famous took place on January 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
I think the 3rd. Yeah, I want to say the 3rd or 4th, and the tweet was
not doing Dry January.
Doing dry. What was the exact?
It was Wet January.
Well, no, but okay, we're gonna look this up so we actually have the right phrasing here.
And they're basically going to doing a marketing campaign that's anti-Dry January called like Wet January, where they're like photoshopping dolphins and jet skis with PBR beer.
Okay, but that's
Well, I was buying time while you look this up.
I do like dolphins.
Yeah, me too. And so their tweet was they deleted it, so that might be why it's hard to find.
Yeah, I was just looking for screenshots. I want to say it was something along the lines of, are you doing Dry January? Have you tried eating ass?
That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny how you have that committed to memory.
Yeah.
Right. Something like that. Whatever.
So, yeah. Strange.
So it was
PBR.
just out there completely. And I want to tell the story about how on New Year's Day, January 1st, I saw a tweet that made me upset from Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
That was Wet January. And that was the graphic said Wet January. The caption of the tweet said, Dry January is so last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take that. I don't care you could say it's clever marketing or whatever.
Well, we're talking about it, which is oftentimes the whole goal
That's
for
not
these
that
people.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I took slight offense to that because it's mocking sobriety.
Yeah.
It's mocking people that want to be sober.
Yeah.
Either temporarily or permanently. So Dry January is so last year is being aggressive against Dry January.
Right. And if you're going to have a hot take, like, you can at least be, like, funny.
Yeah.
Like, you can at least try.
I mean, it kind of was.
But okay.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I understand. Humor is subjective.
Here's I have a lot of different thoughts on this one. We'll try to be concise about them all. So I tweeted that back. I said, let's mock sobriety. Cool. So I tweeted that out a couple hours, and then it just kind of flew under the radar. I got some like flack on it from like maybe 10 or 15 people that day, just underneath that one tweet.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened. It was kind of frustrating just to deal with these losers. Like, just imagine being a PBR stan. Like, what a loser.
Yeah.
But kind of like calm the next 2 days. And then start picking up steam, more and more steam. And then the PBR social media account manager also, by the way, responded to my tweet, which was reasonable. Let's mock sobriety with JFC. Jesus.
Yeah,
fucking
that's
Christ.
right. That's right.
And
I thought
JFC. Sorry.
that's what that stands for?
JFC.
Yeah, it's that's how they say it in German. It's with a G. He's been doing that Duolingo.
So I was just like, okay, this is odd that your social media account,
and then that you're doubling down.
And so the entire time over the course of like 2 or 3 days, the guy is reacting and digging himself into this hole of just idiocracy.
Yeah.
And finally, on that one fateful morning, comes out with that as a response.
Yeah. Not doing Dry January? Try eating ass. Or whatever the term phraseology was there.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I started that whole thing, but I kind of started that thing.
Well, the dude has been let go. The CEO,
Reportedly let go.
Reportedly. And they said it was their agency or something like that. Somebody from their agency who did it.
I hope he gets
doubt it.
unemployment.
yeah, I hope he's vaccinated.
This is I have thoughts on this from multiple angles. One, from a beverage responsibility angle. I've been drilled from it on the spirit side.
Yeah.
How there are certain bodies out there that self-regulate themselves to make sure that they give out that responsibility messaging in the spirits industry.
Yeah.
And we don't really have that in the beer industry. We have the BA, but there is no responsibility messaging on that same level that the spirits industry has.
Well, kind of back to your point about the cars thing. Like, I'm usually in favor of not having that pushed by some kind of an authority or regulatory body. But that being said,
but it's being self.
Yeah, if it's self-policed, I mean, whatever. I don't like the word policing in general. Sure.
I'm just saying. Okay, so I'll just say, like, when I did work for Brown Foreman, like, I was constantly any messaging that I put out was being looked through the lens of a responsible drinking lens.
Yeah.
So like that,
which is kind of the like corporate social responsibility of owning and operating an alcohol brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I already had that instilled in me. And then also, again, there's another regulatory body, DISCUS, the Distilled Spirits Council, who has multiple websites on responsible drinking and stats and just puts everything out there. I just can't imagine a world in which a social media account manager working for a beverage alcohol company would have...
Imagine if it was from... This is going to be terrible. We're going to get canceled for this for sure. But imagine if it was from, like, the firearms industry. And somebody's like, trying to learn about gun safety? Try eating ass instead. Like, it's just a bad take.
So is that when you want to implode your brand? Do you just ask what you're doing and then follow it?
Like, eating ass
try eating ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Which brings us to our next topic: farts in a jar.
Oh yeah, we did promise an update for those of you who were asking.
We did not promise that.
The farts in a jar girl
so I
is now selling NFTs for farts.
We're doing this sober, just so you know.
Yeah, right. You're like, hey, I've got like 0.00002.
Decidedly worse.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to play devil's advocate on that, and your context makes sense. I don't, not to my knowledge, and I'm not especially ingrained in it, but there's not that sort of representation of like an ongoing a campaign for responsibility amongst beer.
No.
Maybe
At the end of like a beer
macro
commercial,
or micro, not that I know of.
like at the end of a Miller Lite commercial, you'll hear "Please drink responsibly," and that's
something
about
like
it.
that. Yeah, but that's kind of like a please don't eat this at the
sure.
end of like the silica packets
Yeah,
in your
right,
shoes. But do you think there's some irony in them making fun of, instead of like a year-long campaign that exists to promote responsibility, them poking fun at the fact that like this is just a month, and the whole month it just kind of like, what's a month?
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna take a month, and then like the hypocrisy is real. I'm engaging in this, but I'm just throwing out there the irony of like, if there's not that overarching campaign or it's not discussed, then it might be funny to poke at a month that for many, breweries and beverage producers is like kind of their worst month at times. I mean, it really impacts their business. And we can go into that later, but there's tons of things you can do to supplement and support businesses if you're withstanding or,
Well, to me, it's just, I do take your point, and I could see where that marketing strategy does probably appeal to some segment of their
PBR stands.
base consumer. Yeah.
Idiots.
But why not make it like, hey, let's come up with a better marketing campaign. It's like, you know what's better than dry January is great. Wet January is better. Like that would be less offensive than like,
totally.
Fuck you people trying to not drink. I'm also super angry because I haven't had a beer in like 6 days, and like people making fun of it. I'm like, fuck you.
I took offense from it in a way that, I mean, it was from a social media account manager standing, a advertising standing, and a beverage alcohol industry standing as well.
And just the human being. It's like part of it as well.
Also, it's just like, it's just lazy. And the guy's responses were just
stupid.
Like it was just broy. Like I didn't like it at all. It is what it is, and people are like, "Oh, but it's just like a fast food company talking about eating healthy or not." Like,
you're not Wendy's, bro. Wendy's knows how to troll on Twitter. Whoever that dude is at PBR, you're not the dude at Wendy's.
Right.
The dude at Wendy's deserves a medal.
Well, he is no longer the dude.
Really? I thought it was Wendy who was doing all those.
Yeah, Wendy's.
No, it's actually Dave Thomas himself.
R.I.P.
The real Dave Thomas.
This is their IPA.
So yeah, now we're opening up the right side American IPA. The Citrus Sweet. Any final thoughts on the Citrus Sweet?
I like it. I think it's great. I think it's a good like.
Do you have any
supplement.
thoughts besides that you like it?
No, I mean, it's okay. So like, if we're just doing tasting notes for the folks who might be interested,
I don't see why not.
Strong, like very strong, like tangerine, like a really bright citrus, almost like a little pineapple-y kind of aroma thing to it.
Yeah,
it's this is going to sound super obvious, but it's like all the malt from a beer. You really pull out the malt characteristics, and there's no alcohol to balance it out.
Sure.
There's like very little hop presence.
No, none.
But it's just like super drinkable. It's nice. It's light. It's got a good body. It's pillowy. I would like to know more about how they make this. Maybe we'll follow up with them and see if it's like an evaporation thing, or if they use that special yeast, or if they just do that like non-enzymatic mashing technique.
I think it's that one.
Yeah,
I don't
we'll follow
know
up
for sure,
with you guys
so.
either on social media or in our next edition.
Right.
But no, this is good. I like it. Let's try their IPA. Thanks for giving me the fucked up can.
Yeah. Oops.
You're welcome. It's because you talk shit about PBR.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right.
So
American IPA, same deal.
this one smells nice and hoppy.
It does.
Not overpowering, but it kind of smells like a
Kind of
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or something.
Kind of smells like an open bag of hops, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. Don't say you like it.
It hits the spot. It reminds me of like Founders like All Day or something like that. It's just like very light.
I don't know if I get.
I mean, that's a fairly like hoppy session IPA. I'm not mad at this at all.
Yeah, it tastes like the equivalent of what I would guess hop water tastes like.
Sure.
It's just like
more mouthfeel than that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not like some of the things I've heard about non-alcoholic, especially like depending on the process used, as there was a couple thrown out there for a second, but they can get really bitter.
Yeah, because
you have to be extremely delicate with the hops that you use, and this is in no way bitter, but it has like that nose on it that like smells like a tropical, like hoppy beer, but there's no bite to it, which is great.
It's very easy to drink.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so I guess, for me, again, like my main thing is I just like to drink beer while I do stuff, either at work or at home or whatever. I don't know if this would be like a good replacement for me on that, just because it'll probably just make me want actual beer. But honestly, for situations like this, I think it's perfect, where you're like in a social setting and drinking obviously is just like we were saying, a very social kind of thing. This is a great thing to be able to have at this meeting and whatever.
It's a good option.
Yeah, it's a good option. And these are some of the best NA beers I've had.
I was going to say.
Because a lot of them be pretty nasty.
Are right up there.
I think. This is probably the best non-alcoholic beer I've had.
I think we've had Athletic before. Those are pretty tasty. But this is good.
Yeah.
I like it. I akin this to kind of the food industry before when veganism was kind of coming up and vegetarian. And it kind of behooved a restaurant to not have a vegan or vegetarian option.
And now KFC is doing like Beyond Chicken.
Beyond Chicken.
Which South Park did it first.
Really?
Of course. True.
Of course.
South Park also did PBR. If you want to know what gets white people in trouble.
Oh, really?
It's PBR.
I think you shared that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that's an
great.
excellent clip if you're into raunchy white trash humor.
Yeah. For sure. My name is Kid Rock. Kid Rock has his own beer brand and is apparently an awesome person. So I'm not going to rag
the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's smooth. But yeah, having earlier we talked about like, they don't have to have an option, but yeah, it does kind of behoove people to kind of
especially in a month where a lot of people are doing this.
Stock up doubly as much as you normally would.
Have one on stop. We're doing one with Akasha. We'll see if it turns out. If it does, we'll share the release details with you guys. We haven't gotten to try the finished product,
but also there's so many different options out there. I mean, either just bottled kombucha.
Sure.
Have something on.
Water is pretty good too.
Water's good too.
I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah.
But
carbonated water.
I've been drinking those like zero alcohol seltzers. Those NA seltzers.
Yeah. I think you're tapping into a market there. What did you do that?
La Croix?
What is in your throat though?
La Croix. LaCroix.
Should get that checked out.
Yeah, if you can. It's COVID.
Appreciate it.
I like the Kroger seltzer brand.
100%. Topo Chico, pretty good too.
So the only person listening at this point is Desiree. So we do need to update you on the.
Listen, the farts and jars lady.
Don't want to talk about this.
She had to stop because she thought she had a heart attack.
She went to the hospital. She thought she had a stroke. The doctors immediately told her it was due to her diet, and that is really not the way you make your money. Okay,
unless you're on a TLC show, like 90 Day Fiancés or whatever. But the good news is she's going to start selling her farts as NFTs instead.
That's correct.
Great.
Non-flatulent tokens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. It has become an investor in Taco Bell.
Yes. She will also be available in the metaverse.
I'm sure.
For jars of farts.
So anyway, everybody can rest easy.
Yes.
Except for her.
All that gas.
Yeah, all that gas.
It's going to take a while.
What were y'all just talking about?
Yeah.
Wasn't paying attention to that one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's fine.
Anything else to touch on this week?
Well, no.
Okay, excellent. We have a few more special beer releases that we'll be announcing over the coming days, but we're planning something fun for Valentine's Day. So stay in the loop for that.
Oh yeah, actually, can I just say something on that?
Yeah.
I will say yesterday.
Yeah, you did a brew day
doing the brew day at Wild Hops with the beer that we're doing. I had some hot wort.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of good beer.
Hell yeah.
So it's like, I got to that point where I'm just like, I want this.
Just barley it up.
Just give me all that oat.
I've been sleeping a ton more than I usually do. And I don't know if it's like weather related or if it's like my body like being like, what's going on?
You need a therapist.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It might also just be dark in January and this is our first snow. But yeah, it's going well so far. And I think I'll probably do it every year. Doing it in October seems like zero fun at all, but January is like the perfect time of the year.
There's dry January, sober October, dry July.
Sure, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, summer seems like a bad time.
January's perfect.
But this is a good time. We just got finished with the holidays.
It's New Year's resolutions. It's all that stuff. Yeah, you're over.
David's over this conversation.
It's trendy.
Yeah, it's trendy.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but for a reason.
Yeah.
People want to do it.
People
Yeah.
do. People do.
I'm enjoying it. The only downside is that I really want to drink a fucking beer.
I've got more
But
work.
this really
to do.
does. This is good. Yeah, this is a really nice thing to fill in. these
It's
little
had some
gaps.
pretty like unaccounted for adverse effects of just like getting more things done and like showing up to work on time and
What's the Seinfeld episode
not
when
calling
Yeah,
my
yeah.
when
ex-girlfriend.
George
goes abstinent.
oh yeah when George does when George goes abstinent, he like becomes one of the smartest people in the group.
The whole rest of his brain clicks on. Yeah.
So David, you're George right now. Is that what you're saying?
It's like there's the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
It's been productive. So don't expect this all the time. Is
Yeah.
all I can say.
1 month a year. It's good.
Yeah.
And it's just a good self-discipline. It's good to just become aware of your patterns and habits in general. So it's a good way to just have a step back from your normal day-to-day life and mix things up a little
Yeah.
bit.
We won't be talking about this all month long for the rest of the podcasts, but
We'll do a final
It was
check-in like
good.
in the early February or something. Let you guys know how it went.
I'll be dead.
Yeah,
February 1st. is
we'll
gonna
have
be-
a party. Hey, maybe our first Trail Tuesday, we'll do like the guys try their first beer or something.
Put your town brewing Trail Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Friday.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. For everybody listening, thank you. For everybody on Patreon, we will see you guys again soon next week. And
Promise to use your morning for John's therapist.
yeah, right. I'm doing great.
You keep telling yourself that.
And thanks to Right Side. These NA
Yes.
beers are fantastic.
And I read it.
Peace.